What's going on, boys and girls? I hadn't done a recipe for you in a while, and I was going to try something today. We're going to try to make some bacon out of Daikon radish. And it's kind of funny that I got a shirt on talking about bacon. I don't know exactly what it says. I think it says something like, whoever says there's not enough bacon or something on it. But anyway, I'm going to try recipe. It's a vegetarian recipe, and I'm not a vegetarian, but I do like to try some of their things sometimes. But we're going to see how it works, and just follow me along. Alrighty, of course, so the main ingredient in this is the daikon radish. This is the daikon radish. It's a long radish. It's got a little bit of a heat taste to it, kind of a, not a bitter taste, but a kind of a peppery taste. And we're going to use our seasonings. We're going to use some, they call for soy sauce in the recipe, but I don't want to use soy sauce, so we're going to use coconut aminos. We're going to use some black pepper, some organic oil, avocado oil. This got avocado, coconut, and safflower oil. You can use any type of light oil. We're going to use some liquid smoke, some maple syrup, some paprika, a little bit of garlic powder, and it calls for some nutritional yeast. We don't have any yeast, so I'm going to use a little bit of grated Parmesan. You can use some MSG as well too, but I don't want to use MSG because it gives my wife really bad headaches, and you basically using the MSG to bring out the flavor. So hopefully this will work using these substitutions. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to peel this daikon radish. As you can see, you don't want it to look like this, and we're not going to use the whole thing. You want it to be about the size of a piece of bacon, so we're going to peel it first. All right, so we didn't go through the whole process, but basically we peeled our daikon radish. Now, how do you make your bacon strips? The best way to do it is to take your peeler here and come down on it real hard, and you want to make big slices here, about like this. And again, you want to make these as big as you can without cutting yourself. And you're going to do that to all of them right there. Just coming down on it, kind of on the deep side. Try to keep them as uniform as possible. Now there's got to be a different way, because it seems like the thing that this dude used was making them a lot thicker. But these will probably work. So we're going to try that. We're not going to do them all here. We're just going to try that and see how it comes out. All right, we got a whole bunch of slices here, but we're just going to start with maybe half of these because I don't know how these things are going to come out. So I've sliced the whole daikon radish, but we're only going to start with a few of these. Now these things are wet, so what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to add some salt to them to draw out some of that salt, draw out some of that water on them, and then you can wipe the salt off of them once you're done. All right, so again, what we're going to do is just going to take some salt here. And just put some salt over them lightly here. Again, we're not going to use, we don't want them to be that salty. You'll get another paper towel on top of that and put some more strips on those, put salt on it. Let the salt sit up there for about 15 minutes or so. Alrighty, now we're going to start making our bacon flavored seasoning. So we're going to use some of our amino acid here. We want to use about 1/3 of a cup of soy sauce, or I'm using liquid amino, which is coconut aminos. Okay. You're going to use 2 tablespoons of light oil. 1, 2. You're going to use a tablespoon of liquid smoke. Use a tablespoon of maple syrup. And use just a dab of black pepper here. And use a little dab of paprika. Gonna use a dab of garlic powder. That was more than a dab. And we're gonna use, oops, I haven't opened up my Parmesan cheese, but we're gonna open it up now. just a little bit of Parmesan cheese here. Of course, you didn't want that big chunk in there like that. All right, then we're going to mix all this up. You may have to warm it up a little bit to get that Parmesan cheese incorporated in there. And I'm sorry I'm using a metal on metal because I know some people don't like that, but you know, just kind of get over it. Okay. All right, that's been about 15 minutes. And look at all the moisture that came off of these. Now, again, you don't want to have all that salt up there. You're going to end up with a really salty product. So we're going to wipe some of that off. We're going to wipe a lot of it off. And then we're going to put it in our sauce here for about 15 minutes. So we want to make sure all of that's covered in that nice deliciousness here. Again, you want to let it stay in there about 15 minutes. About halfway through, come through it and I'll stir it up again to make sure that's all of this Daikon radish gets covered. Now, it will retain a little bit of the salt, but you know, guys, bacon has a little bit of a salty flavor anyway, so that's why we didn't put a lot of salt in the dish itself. So we're going to come back in about 7.5 minutes and re-stir it. Alrighty, so it's been about 7.5 minutes, 15 minutes to all together. We've let that soak. We got some oil in our frying pan turned up to medium heat. We're going to take this out and we're going to fry it just like you would bacon. You want to have enough of the oil in there so that it will kind of crunch up like bacon will. And again, you don't want to put it in there as wet as this is. So we're going to take some of it out, take some of the Daikon radish out and let it drip a little bit. And then we're going to put it in there. Alrighty, guys, here goes nothing. We're going to fry it like bacon, hopefully. Put one in there. Put another one in there. Oops. It's looking good so far. Now, it takes a little bit, it doesn't take long for it to fry, but it probably takes a lot longer for it to crisp up. So we're going to let this stuff fry. And we're not going to show you the whole cooking process, but you can see it already starting to turn brown. Look at that one right there, already starting to turn brown like bacon. And you want to make sure you've got enough oil in there. But you got to watch it because you don't want it to burn. Now, as you can see, some of the thinner slices are cooking a little bit faster, so that's probably a good thing. See, this thick slice is not cooking as fast as this one. This one's looking more like bacon, too, so once they get to a certain point, you're going to flip them. We don't want them burnt, though. So we're starting to turn some of these now. Again, they're not as uniform as bacon is, but this one is right here. These thinner ones are not, though. But they're kind of wrinkling up like bacon. You know, the true test is going to be, what the heck do these things taste like? That's the ultimate goal. And is it worth going through an hour to make this bacon when you can make regular bacon in, what, 15 minutes? All right, now once we get to this point, we don't want to burn these things. So I'm going to go ahead and take this one out here, lay it there. We can go ahead and take this one out too. Just take it out like you would regular bacon. Let it crisp, because that's what the ultimate goal is, for it to crisp and not burn. So that one's starting to get a little burn on it, so we don't want that to happen. So take that out as well. Just kind of flip them and watch them, guys. This one's still looking good here. I think that's probably going to be the one that's going to taste the best. Not to say that these other ones are not going to taste good. This one right here is probably going to taste good too. I think that has a whole lot to do with it. All right, we're going to take the final piece out here. Just let it drip off like you would a regular piece of bacon. Put it down, oops. Put it down here. And we're gonna let that sit for just about a couple of minutes, guys, and we're gonna taste it and see what it tastes like. All right, guys. I'm kind of scared about tasting this because, you know, bacon is such good. But look at that. Where's my camera? Yeah. Look at that right there. It looks like bacon. I mean, it's firm like bacon. I don't know. I don't know. Wow. I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that. Now, it ain't bacon now. Don't get me wrong. It ain't bacon. But it's got that flavor like bacon. It's got the crunch like bacon. Heck, I would eat this with eggs, y'all. Very good. I am impressed. I'll let my wife try it, see what she likes. I think it's got a little bit too much salt on it, but that is good. All right, that was really good. My wife liked the Daikon radish bacon. She really liked it, but it was too salty. And I think it's because, you know, you can't wipe that salt off. Because one thing I noticed that when I put the salt on the bacon or on the Daikon radish, it actually absorbed into the radish. So I think with the next batch that I make, not the kind that's already soaking in there, that's too salty. I'm gonna throw that out. But the actual texture is what I liked. But the saltiness, no, my blood pressure is high enough. I don't need it to be any higher. So what we're going to do, we still got some fresh batches. I'm not going to put it in the salt. I'm just going to put it straight into the sauce that you use for seasoning. And we're going to see how that's going to come out. And we'll do that on maybe another video. Thanks for watching, guys. Y'all take care.